has a powerful and fascinating...
It is track number 8. Sorry. Nikki should know what they're doing.
Well, as you can see from the video, I finally did it. I performed in a drag show. And to say that that was an amazing experience is a massive understatement. And as promised, here's the video talking about my drag show, starting from how I got involved in drag, how I got into a show, what the performance was like, what was the show like, kind of what was the audience like expectations, like what expectations I had, and then what's moving forward. Because to say that that was amazing is a massive understatement. That was so fun. I had such a blast. I'm still on the high from that show. Still to this day, like 4 days later from filming this thing, I had so much fun. And this is the video talking all about my drag experience. Well, how did I get involved in the show? Now, drag has been something I've always been interested in, but never really knew how to do it. Like, I think I found out what a drag queen was when I was like 9 years old, and luckily I had the internet, so I could do research, learn about RuPaul's Drag Race, and I remember watching RuPaul's Drag Race all the time on Hulu and YouTube, but always tried to hide it from my parents because I didn't know how they would react. But drag was something that like I wanted to do my entire life. As I've talked about in previous videos, I just was called to it. Like I was this sad boy, like I wanted to transform into this glamorous, gorgeous queen and get up there and do it. But I didn't really know how to do it. And then we moved to Idaho and all this stuff happened and I kind of got depressed a lot, dealing with my gender dysphoria when I was younger. And so I didn't really get into the drag scene. I remember I had a chance to do it at like 23, but the fact that I was living with my parents and didn't know how they would react and all that stuff, I didn't do it. And I still regret that decision. But now that I've been hanging out with friends, I have friends who are involved in the drag scene. Like I have quite a few friends whenever I go there and I talk to all of them. In fact, it's so funny. When I go to these shows, all of my friends are performers. So that at the beginning of the show, like I'm like talking to like no one, like there's no one there that I really know. And then at the end of the show, once all the performers are done with their stuff, it's like just opens up and I talk to them for hours and hours. I've been to dinner with them. I've had a lot of fun going to these shows and it's kind of reinvigorated my want to do a drag show. Like it's kind of like restarted it. And luckily, thanks to the fabulous Buck Delicious, who is the producer of this show called Mic Drop, it is an open stage drag show where anybody can get on stage and do it. Anybody can do it. It is something that is just there because if you've had that feeling like I've had for over 10 years of wanting to do a show, this is the stage presence to get on there. This is kind of like the intro into a much broader world as per Obi-Wan. And when I went to the first show, it was super fun. I just got a feeling the next day, messaged her on Instagram, and I got in there. And I'm so glad I did because this has been such a learning experience for me. I've learned what I'm physically capable, and I was nervous. I was so nervous for this. Like it was like 2 months of like kind of planning for this and telling people, they're like, you're in a drag show? I'm like, yeah, I'm in a drag show. And they're like, wow, that's so cool. And luckily I had friends who helped me. I had fellow drag performers I could reach out to. I had the internet and everything like that. And I kind of learned it. Was it the greatest? No, but I learned it. And I started to kind of formulate an act. And it was something that I was working on for almost 2 months. Like I was turning this space that I'm in right now, I'd moved the couch out of the way and turned my apartment into basically an informal dance studio. Then I was going over to my friend's house and practicing with her. One of my drag performer friends came over and helped me kind of get the numbers set up. But she's like, I'm not gonna hold your hand through this. You have to learn how to do this. And so I kind of like slowly created an act more or less and kind of created the drag performance look from it. And it was something that I wanted to do because I wanted to do it. And that's just what it was. And so finally the day came and I had 3 days off. I had my outfit. I had everything kind of set and planned out, but it was just getting up on that stage and doing it. Also, apologize. I'm talking really fast right now just because I'm so amped from this thing. Now, what was the performance like? So I had to get there at 7 o'clock because they want us there early so that if we can get everything planned out, get it all set up. And the club that I go to is really nice. And they have this like informal like screen that they put up and they kind of turn the back of the club into like a background stage and all that stuff. And they turn it into like an actual like cabaret show almost. And so I got there at 7. I was kind of in the middle of the performer. I was there. I was in my fishnet bodysuit. I was in my heels. I took my bag. My friend, who's a drag performer, called me up beforehand and told me, okay, bring this, because you're going to need this. You're going to need this. So I had all that stuff in like this big pink bag and basically just kind of hung out for an hour. And I'm not going to lie, I was nervous because I'm one of those people, especially when I was in college and high school, that anytime I had to do a presentation or anything like that, I'm one of those, I volunteer to go first. I'd rather just get it over with and be done with it. Unfortunately, they dictate where you are in the lineup. I was in the middle of the second half, so I was nearer to the end, and I had to wait around for most of the show. And when I got there, there was like no one there. There was like nobody in that club. There was like maybe like 15 people at like 7:45, and we had this team meeting in the back. All of us were there. Everyone was getting set up. All the queens were putting on their wigs. All the queens were putting on their outfits. And we had a meeting, we did it. Like, we're gonna do this, let's have fun. And I went into this thinking, okay, I'm not gonna be the worst, I'm not gonna be the best, but I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna serve and I'm gonna fucking eat it. That's kind of my theory, was that I'm going to do this and who cares how well I do? This is just to get it over with, basically, and have the fun and the say that I actually performed in a drag show. But then after we had the team meeting, the club just got super busy after that point. It went from like 15 people to 40 people. Then I had coworkers showing up. I had 5 of my coworkers there that I was hanging out with. Like, this one girl brought 4 of her friends. This one older lady, like, I had older ladies coming there, like in between like 50s and 60s coming there, and they were hanging out at the table, they were drinking, they were having a blast. I had my other friends there, so I had like a few people that were there just to see me perform. So that was kind of a really cool thing. Like, people wanted to come watch me perform. And finally, the act before mine came up. And like, by this point, my heart was racing. I was racing so much. And I went in the back, kind of ran through the number really quickly. And again, I'm a complete amateur at dancing. So my dance is like, I've never done anything like this before in my life. Let's try to do it type thing. So I ran through it really fast, made sure I was physically capable, did some stretches, made sure that I wasn't gonna die in those heels. And I had to go out, stand outside, because I was like, my heart was racing. Luckily it was cold outside, I had some water. Everyone was like, you're nervous on your first one, but you're gonna do great. You have your act, you have your look, do it. And that's basically what it was. And finally, my name was called up and I got on that stage. So when you're on that stage, the best way to describe it is that it's sort of like a big blinding light in your face. And I got on it and they played the wrong song. Apparently to a couple of queens, that's like one of their biggest nerves, is when they play the wrong song. Luckily they caught it really fast and they changed it. But then came the performance. My song came on and I started going through my choreography that I came up with. And remember, I'm a complete amateur. This is like the first time I've ever like done a dance routine or anything like that ever. So I just kind of like made it up as I went, more or less, following along to a lot of the queens that I've been watching my whole life, as well as a lot of the local queens, and kind of took ideas from each one of them. And it kind of became a thing of like, okay, let's try this out. Let's see what this works. And when I started hearing those screams, I knew I was doing something right. And I did the first part kind of slow and then kind of eased into it a little bit, went down and did crowd work. I wanted to do a high energy song because I didn't want to just stand up there and be like, I'm nervous as hell, I don't want to do this anymore. I wanted to like get involved in it. And everyone says that within like the first minute that I started to get a lot less nervous, and I started to become a lot more comfortable with it. And it just kind of flowed from there. Like, as you saw in the video, I did it. Like, people were throwing dollars out, I was throwing dollars around, I was doing hair flips, I was doing everything that I've seen my entire life and going to these shows. And I was just doing it. Like, this is the best way to describe it. Like, I was doing it. I was finally in that moment, and like, they were singing along to it, people were singing with it, they were throwing money out. Everyone was like, do it. The commentary on the videos is like half the fun of it, honestly. Like, my coworkers were screaming, my friends who were all there were screaming, you better work, you better do it. And it was a blast. And finally the song ended and it felt like it was like 30 seconds. It didn't feel like I was up there for 3.5 minutes. It literally felt like 30 seconds. And I got off that stage, I went in the back, I was like, oh my God, I did it. I finally did it. And oh, I was so dead after that. Oh my God, I was so dead. Like, I had to go sit outside with some water and just like chill for like a couple of minutes after that, because I was just like, oh my God, I did it. My feet were fine. I've worn those heels forever and I'm a big high heel wearer. So like my feet were totally fine, but just, I was sore. I was just like, I did it. After the show, I met up with my coworkers and they were just like, oh my God, I didn't know you were capable of that. I didn't know, here's more money. And they started shoving money in my bra and all that stuff. Like, I've got pictures of me with just 20s in my bra, basically. My coworkers were like, you killed it. You absolutely killed it. My drag performer friends were like, good job. You finally did it. Like, you did it. And it was awesome. Then after the show ended, we just kind of hung out. Like I was on such a high from that they did this lip sync karaoke where you could basically just pick a song and do kind of like a dance, like an informal drag dance to it. And I did exactly that. I did it twice. One of them I did To Fancy by Iggy Azalea, and the other one I did a duet with my friend. And like the whole night was great. Me and my one friend, we celebrated by going to In-N-Out Burger because I made $100 in cash in 5 minutes. I was like, I don't even know how I made $100. I wasn't expecting to make any money. I was expecting to make like maybe like $10 or something like that. I made $100 in 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, apparently this is profitable. Damn. Like I didn't do it for the money. I did it for like the self-confidence of being able to say I did it. And it was so good. Like I had the next day off and I was just on such a high from it. I went to work the day after and I was just like, oh my God, I did it. I was showing everybody the video. Probably tomorrow when I go to work, I'm gonna show everybody more of the videos. And it was awesome. Like I freaking did it. I had such a blast and I can't wait to do it again. So what's next for this whole thing? Well, I want to do it again. They have another show in April that I signed up for, but this was to say that I did it. And now I have like an itch. I've been joking that I've been making a joke off of Christopher Walken, like I got a fever and the only prescription is more drag shows. And I just want to do it again. Like it was such a blast. I had so much fun. I called up my one friend and asked her, okay, how do I do this more often? And she's like, well, your performance was good, but you have to have more work. I would suggest watching a lot more RuPaul's Drag Race. I would suggest start learning a lot more of it, start figuring out like what your type of dance is, what your type of performance is. Turns out there's multiple types of drag performances that I didn't really know. I've learned a lot of it from just kind of like overhearing stuff, but I didn't know it was to this level. And the next one, I want to wear wigs. I want to have a better outfit. I want to have that sparkly shit. I want to be glamorous. And I'm even going to start signing up for dance classes because they have dance studios here in Boise where you can kind of learn more of that, like the energy of it. My one friend was like, you have the foundations. It's just learning it. Like, it's just getting more involved. Like, you have to want to do it. And I want to do it because it was just a blast. Like, I can't believe it took me 29 years to finally get on that stage. And like, I want to do it more often. Like, I would love to start like getting booked and start like doing it. But like, I've only done my first show less than a week ago, so I can't jump to conclusions yet. There's a lot of work that I have to do. There's a lot of work that I'm gonna have to put into this. And there's a lot of learning that I have to do. But I have that willingness to do it because the one thing that I've said to everybody is that I don't just feel like a trans person anymore. I feel like a transgender entertainer. Like, yes, I'm transgender, but like there's more to me than that. Because I've always said I don't want transgender to be my personality. I want to be known for like having fun and like people look at that and like, wow, that's really cool. And that's awesome that you were able to do that. And it gives me a whole nother type of content to post about, like make YouTube videos about this stuff. And like, I'm excited. Like, I feel reinvigorated. Like, I've woken up the last couple of days, like, I freaking did that. Let's do it again. And everyone at my work is super excited. Like, I've had a lot of ladies come up to me and be like, why didn't you invite me? And be like, I didn't know you wanted to come. After seeing those videos and hearing who came, I'm going to every one of your shows. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, this is so cool. And it's just awesome to be part of something that's like something I've wanted to do. Everybody there is super sweet. They're all super nice, super cool. Like, there's no issues there at all. I've enjoyed every single show I've gone to. Everybody there is super awesome. And like, I want to get more involved in it. I want to be a part of this moving forward. I want this to be something that I do all the time. And I have a lot of advice from the fellow queens. I have my one friend who's super sweet. I called her today and we talked for over a half hour all about it. And there's a lot of work, but I'm willing to put it in and I'm willing to do this again because that was such a blast. And that was such a high that like, I just want to do it again, plain and simple. So in conclusion, I loved it. Every bit of that experience. of finally getting on that stage and doing my first ever drag show. That was amazing. Plain and simple. I want to do it again. I know what I need to improve on. I know I need to start doing some research. I'm gonna start signing up for some classes. I'm gonna start, working on flexibility and moving my body, because when I was trying to do some of the stuff that I was seeing, I was like, okay, I'm way too tight on like my muscles and things like that. Yeah, I go to the gym all the time, but like, it's time to start learning like flexibility and like maneuvering and like kind of getting the rhythm down. A lot of my friends and a lot of my coworkers were like, your show was great, just get that rhythm in there and like get that flow in there. My one friend joked that I have a signature. It's the hip wiggle. And I'm like, awesome, that's probably gonna be my signature moving forward. But I just need to start like coming up with like my own version of drag, because drag is transformative. Drag is very like, you do it because it's fun to do and it's something that you want to reflect on the people. And like, I love my body right now. I love every single bit of like my current life, but this is something that I want to see go places. I want to see this turn into something really cool, and it's already turned into stuff. I did a glamour model shoot the other day from a guy that I met at the club. He was super nice, and the pictures are on my Instagram. They're way too spicy for YouTube. So if you want to go look at them, they're on my Instagram. But that was from going to shows. I have friends from going to shows. I have like an entire like world that I'm starting to get connected with because I've gotten involved. Like, it's awesome going to work and being like, wow, I'm not just going to work and going home anymore. Like, I have a show to go to. In fact, this coming weekend on March 8th, I'm going to the Dewdrops and Divas show at the Balcony Club that a lot of the performers are going to be in. Some of them I hardly ever get to see perform because of various things. So it's going to be great. Like, I'm so excited for the future, and you're going to be learning about it all on here on YouTube, because this was so much fun. So much fun. Okay, I'm going to stop now because I'm just kind of rattling now. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. If you want to follow me, NikkiDolly95 over on Instagram. I have my link tree in the link tree at the top of my YouTube and the links. So if you want to go follow me on there, I will be posting a lot about future shows and kind of the work that I've been doing and things like that. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. Have a wonderful day. This has been Nikki Chanel. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Put those comments in the comment section and I will answer them. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, and I will be here for the next video, and hopefully it will be a little bit more coherent next time. Thanks, honeys.